Donald Trump is panicking this morning as the size of the crowds in Tehran continue to grow. What started with millions is now tens of millions of mourners for Ayatollah Khamenei's funeral procession. We're seeing tens of millions of people on the street in Tehran and in surrounding cities. We'll show you some images right here. So now in the Oval Office, Donald Trump is back to saying, well, we're either going to make a deal with Iran or we're going to finish the job. It won't be tough for us to finish the job. We're going to destroy their energy. We're going to destroy their bridges. We're going to destroy their big, beautiful plants, and they're not going to like it. We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way, Donald Trump says, as he threatens the individuals who are out there mourning essentially the person who is their Pope. And as Donald Trump entered into, or was their Pope, Donald Trump entered into the MOU. You did the deal already. What deal are you talking? There's nothing more to negotiate other than to make the deal into a long-form agreement. Here's what Donald Trump said. Play this clip.
Maybe making a deal. I don't know. We'll make either. Look, we're going to win one way or the other. We're either going to make a deal or we're going to finish the job. Okay? And it won't be tough to finish the job. I'd rather make a deal because I don't want to affect 91 million people. We can knock down their bridges in 1 hour. We can knock out their energy supply, all of those big plants that they built, big, beautiful, modern plants. They had a lot of money. They don't have any money now. We haven't given them any money. But we can knock out their electricity and power generating plants in, I would say, a small part of an afternoon. Every plant will be gone. And they know that.
Now, Financial Times has confirmed the numbers that we've been telling you. I've seen some of your comments saying, Ben, there's not tens of millions. You're exaggerating. You're being hyperbolic. Come on, Ben. Here's how Financial Times puts it. The funeral of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, could see a total of 12 million to 15 million visitors across the days of events, making it one of the largest funerals in modern history. I would say it's the largest funeral ever. Take a look right here, what you can see in Engelab Square and Azadi Square. I mean, the whole Tehran is filled with people, and in addition to in the mosque mourning area as well. Here, play this clip. So then Donald Trump is like, well, we're doing very well with Iran. We're doing very well with them. We're just not getting the coverage that we deserve. It's really a media thing that, when I say they're fully destroyed and that the people hate the regime there and that they have no radars and militaries, when media says they have a military, they still control the Strait of Hormuz, you're lying about everything and then show images. Man, that's so unfair to the United States. Here, play this clip.
Hundreds of billions. They have more money than they've ever made. And we're doing very well. We paid for the war many times over. And then Iran, we're doing actually equally as well. We're just not getting the kind of coverage that we should. But we have eviscerated them military. And the bottom line is our country is strong. We have the greatest military anywhere in the world. I was with President Xi.
Then Donald Trump said that nobody ever heard of the Strait of Hormuz before this war. Nobody heard of it. He said, but it's a big money machine. You should learn your history. Everybody knew about the Strait of Hormuz. And by the way, I'll give you another piece of history as well. July 3rd of 1988, when the United States military destroyed an Iranian commercial flight, Iran Air Flight 655, killing 290 people. Yeah, the Iranians remember that, and people remember what went down there anyway. Here, let's play this clip of Donald Trump saying nobody's heard of the Strait of Hormuz.
The Strait and the famous Strait of Hormuz, nobody ever heard of, but that is some big money machine, I'll tell you what, when you look at the numbers, Michael.
And then Donald Trump, showing again how just utterly delusional and pathetic he is, starts to brag about TikTok. He goes, you hear about TikTok? People say that I get better ratings on TikTok than Taylor Swift. Okay, so he's like, terrified of the size of the crowds in Tehran. He's lying and saying that more people watch him on TikTok than anything. And this is what you're saying from the Oval Office. And by the way, this is supposed to be like a press conference on what he calls the Trump accounts, investment accounts for babies, where it invests in S&P 500 ETFs, these exchange traded funds. Here, just play this clip of what he says.
About 2 days ago, the new numbers just came out. You know who the number one person in TikTok is by far? Trump, me. I just got, I'm number one. Like Taylor Swift was number 11. I'm number one in TikTok by far.
Then Donald Trump's like, every time I see these crypto guys who are getting rich, I say to them, you're so lucky you got me. You're so lucky because otherwise you'd be under investigation. So you're very lucky you have me. I mean, can the corruption get any more obvious? Let's play it.
They allowed people to come out of jail. And every time I see a crypto guy where they dropped an investigation, I said, you're lucky I'm president, because I don't know if you know, the Biden administration became totally pro-crypto.
Here you have mourners at Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's funeral throwing stones at a billboard of Donald Trump. We can just show you that. Let's play it. And you can see over here, people in Tehran held signs up like this: "We will end you, Donald. Thank you for your attention to this matter." If you look in the crowd, you see lots of signs like this: "Sooner or later, your heads will roll." And it's a photo of Donald Trump and people in his regime. Mourners throwing, you saw that. Lots of messages, threatening Donald Trump that's out there. Meanwhile, the world's on fire. I did a video this morning. We know this weekend, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump spoke for 90 minutes, and then shortly thereafter, Putin launched one of his biggest ballistic missile strikes on Kyiv since the war began. I think right now it's over 20 people killed, striking in the heart of Kyiv. By the way, we've also seen, I'll show you the video right here, showing a Ukrainian drone slamming into the Omsk refinery, which is Russia's largest refinery in Ukraine's longest distance drone strike yet. Several hits on various infrastructure within the facility have been recorded. Here's a closer view of the fire over there. And this was probably 2,500 kilometers away from Ukraine. And lots of people are saying that the way these drones had to attack, they actually went 3,500 kilometers to attack from a direction that Russia didn't expect. Let me show you the Omsk refinery. And again, this is one of the biggest refineries in all of Russia. Here, let's play this.
Ебашут еще беспилотник второй.
Смотри, сука.
Стреляет отовсюду.
Смотри.
Вот он, бах, блядь.
Блядь, ты видел?
Туда же. Ебать ее в рот, нахуй.
So then Donald Trump said, as it relates to Russia's war on Ukraine, I think we're getting much closer than people realize. I think we're getting much closer to solving it. We're very close to getting a deal. Promised he would get it done, not just on day one, but 24 hours after the election. The guy lies about everything. Here, play this clip.
I think we're getting much closer than people realize. And President Putin wants it to end. I will tell you that very strongly. A good call. And President Zelensky actually wants it to end now. And we're going to be going to NATO, and we're going to be talking about it. And I think we're going to get it. I think we're going to get it ended. It's been terrible.
And then he goes on to brag about calling up Gianni Infantino, the head of FIFA, and having FIFA reverse a red card against one of the top U.S. players. UEFA put out a statement on Fowler and Balogun getting the red card reversed and playing in tonight's game. Here's what Donald Trump had to say. If Belgium beats us, they could be proud, but otherwise, the refs were rigging it against the United States like the 2020 election, Donald Trump says.
A big committee. And after reviewing it, I think they said, look, this game would have a big mark on it. If we lost, if we won, no matter what happened, you have to let them use their best players. And the game tonight's going to be amazing, and we're going to have a full team, and Belgium's going to have a full team. And you know what? If they beat us, then they can be really proud. The other way, if they beat us, we'll say I say it was rigged, just like the election was rigged in 2020, but I won't get into that. Ladies and gentlemen.
And then Ted Cruz was bragging about Donald Trump getting the red card reversed. This hadn't happened, I think, ever in FIFA history, reversing a red card, and a red card that was then confirmed on the review. Here's what Ted Cruz has to say.
And on behalf of all Americans, thank you for getting rid of that ridiculous red card. This is his. That was interesting. It was spectacular. There was a reason the FIFA trophy sat here for as long as it did. Mr. President,
here's the statement from the European Football Federation. Statement on decision related to Fowler and Balogun. Yesterday's decision to suspend a probationary period, a year. The implementation of the one-match automatic suspension following the red card issued to Fowler and Balogun crossed a red line. Football, like any other sport, relies on rules, which are the basis for fair, honest, and transparent competition. Sometimes rules are open to interpretation, in this case not. At a minimum, automatic suspension of one match following a red card is not a discretionary option and does not require the decision of a competent body to be enacted. And it goes on to criticized the decision. Meanwhile, you had Benjamin Netanyahu going on state regime media Fox this morning and saying that only Israel should be able to have F-35s and not Turkey or no one else in the Middle East, because he says the entire security infrastructure of the Middle East relies on Israel and the United States imposing its military will, and that you shouldn't give F-35s to any other countries. Here's what he says.
I don't think they should be given F-35s or the engines for their fighter jets, because that'll upset the power balance in the Middle East, which is ultimately guaranteed by Israeli air superiority and also by, I think, by America's posture in the Middle East.
And then Netanyahu says that the only reason why Iran is still standing is because of goons. A few 100,000 goons, that's why. And otherwise, if it wasn't for these few 100,000 goons, we would have been able to take it over. Donald Trump and Netanyahu would have conquered all of Iran. And you see all the people out there at the funeral who were just ready and willing and so excited to have Netanyahu rule over Iran, because they saw the genocide in Gaza and the genocide in Lebanon, and they said, this is precisely what we want. Come on. This is what he's saying this morning. Play this clip.
We've had over 13,000 strikes on them. You've had over 8,000 strikes on them. Why is that government still standing?
Because it has a few 100,000 goons who murder in broad daylight and at night. They murder their own people.
You've got Donald Trump making posts this morning of National Guard, looking at the reflecting pool. By the way, the reflecting pool still looks green today, and it has all this ash from that disastrous fireworks show. Donald Trump making weird posts about himself sitting courtside at a Knicks game from the 1990s. And then he writes, or he reposts someone who says, thanks to Trumponomics, the U.S. economy is hotter than the New York Knicks. Like, why are you making sports so damn weird too, and conflating it with the economy, which is bad and where most Americans are suffering right now? Yeah, maybe not Michael Dell, the billionaire who's in there, whose stock went up. You saw Dell behind him after these Trump accounts were announced, and that Dell was going to make a philanthropic investment in the Trump accounts. And then the Dell stock goes up right there. But most Americans are suffering right now, can't afford anything, can't afford homes. Most Americans feel they're going through a Great Depression, but Trump says we're never been hotter. I also want to point this out as well. I'll just show you a little clip of this. We don't need to show the full minute. So last night we had Delcy Rodriguez and Diosdado Cabello giving medals, thanking the U.S. search and rescue teams in La Guerra. Everything has to be medals now. So we have the authoritarian regime of Venezuela that held up aid to the people of Venezuela following the earthquakes, and who did not do a good job in deploying search and rescue teams. There's still tens of thousands of people missing and presumed dead, over or close to 3,000 confirmed dead. That's going to increase dramatically. And now we're handing out medals. And the person handing out the medals while America's like envoy is standing right there is a guy who there was a $25 million bounty on him. But that's the Trump regime for you. That's the Trump regime. Let's play it.
Condecoración Héroes Caninos de Venezuela a los 6 semovientes caninos pertenecientes al equipo USA 02.
Team USA 02, Canine Heroes of Venezuela Award, received by 6 members of this year.
Yes.
Thank you. ¿Es bravo? ¿Ya? ¿Cómo está?
Sí, tenemos que es mejor.
Okay.
Muchas gracias.
No, thank you. Happy Independence Day.
Líderes del equipo USA 02.
And then the weakness of the Trump regime, obviously, being demonstrated. China sees how weak they are. China's Navy just successfully test-fired a nuclear-capable ballistic missile carrying a training simulation warhead from a strategic submarine into the Pacific high seas. The launch triggered swift condemnations from New Zealand, Japan, Papua New Guinea, who called it a threat to regional stability. We don't hear anything from Donald Trump. Kim Jong-un of North Korea did a cruise missile test over the weekend as well, bragging about their nuclear capabilities. But Donald Trump and Michael Dell in the Oval Office bragging about their helicopters, and Michael Dell goes, "Sir, we don't have a helicopter. We call it a Delicopter. It's the Delicopter, everybody." Let's play it.
Every question's a kill, you know that, right? Every question's a kill, right?
Sir,
Nice
we don't have a helicopter, we have a delicopter.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think about all of this. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thank you for watching. Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.